Part 3, the last portion of this set of tutorials for the stop motion, is to export your project. It's important to understand that when you've assembled some media into a project, that it is truly just talking to the original media, the portions that you're using, and the location and the timing of these elements in your project window. It's not actually a video file yet, even though it looks like video in your viewer window. So the only thing that could play this is another computer with Final Cut on it with all of the original media is the only way we can actually play this current video or a video project that you've started. So what we need to do is we need to export it. A few things I'm going to recommend if you haven't done so already is to open iTunes at least one time and accept all of the user stuff that comes up the first time you open iTunes on your school computer. Once iTunes has been opened, this next part will happen flawlessly. The final portion, opposite the end of the import where you get your project started, the far opposite end has an export button. So if I click on this, this is how we're going to share our content with the rest of the world so that everyone else can view it. If you decide to burn a Blu-ray disc or a DVD, those options are in here as well. Typically, we're going to live in these Apple devices, 720 or 1080. 720 is the size of the file we use when working with YO5 Live. If we're going to put it out to the television studio, we always use 720 because that's what our broadcast is with YO5 Live. 1080 works out on the web, but Facebook, YouTube, and Vimeo, they all have their own small tweaks, adjustments that they use that they recommend. And these also allow you to push directly to those locations. So when you click it in here, it'll ask you to log into YouTube or your YouTube account so it can put it right to your page. In our case, we're going to download as Apple devices 1080. When you click this, you need to check that you're getting exactly what you wanted. One of those things is the duration of your project. Make sure that you don't have something else in your project that you should have just deleted or it should be ignoring. For instance, a black bar at the end or a title slide at the end that you really you tried but you're not going to use. So if my final duration is 5 seconds or roughly 5 seconds, that's what it should say here, and it does. And then there's the file format that you're using. Otherwise, you may be exporting more content, which is a common problem people have, and it takes a lot longer. So in this case, this is roughly a 5-second project, and that's what I wish to export. I'm going to click Share. And what it's doing is it's going to put these pieces together and create a video file that I can later find, if you use the Apple devices 1080, in iTunes. So I'm going to go over to iTunes. I'm going to go to my home videos. And there it is. I can see it's popping in. And as soon as this thing's completely written, the file will load. There it goes. All right. I could obviously add more mouth audio to complete this project. You also are going to need to add a title slide to the end with some text on it. And once you have all the necessary elements, that's your export process. It will go to your iTunes account. When you're in iTunes, you can drag and drop this thing to your desktop. I would recommend that you keep it somewhere safe. Typically, the 302 drive is a good place, and or your documents on your secondary homes, which is what gets shared throughout our network and is where all the files created on our computers should be going instead of the desktop of a specific machine. So this can be moved around. It can be passed in or handed in to Schoology through the assignment for stop motion that was created.